And then that is
This week
perpetuated
on
to
My
everyone
Time to
else. So they're
Talk.
like, well, I had to do it, so you need to do it.
Yeah.
I had to do it, so you need
It's
to do it.
their muscle is big enough to kick your ass
They're
when
not
you come
looking
out.
about kicking
Do you know
asses,
what I
they're looking
mean?
about
Like,
stabbing you up. This is
Yeah.
the worst thing, and that's what I'm saying. It's like
No
that was
longer
even a
punching
luxury
or
of a slap
anything.
or a kick in the belly. Now it's like they're gonna stab you up, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think those ones, I'm sorry, but there's no help for them now. That's, as far as I'm concerned, it's too far gone.
I'm not going to let her squander 20 mil. I'd rather open up my own rehab and put her in there permanently. That's your yard, okay?
That's probably a good earner as well, actually. Yeah, going back to like the Buju thing, like he even mentioned in that interview about Haiti, like Haiti was the first African nation to free themselves, and they've been paying for it ever since. Do you know what I mean? Like Haiti's not making guns, so the guns are coming from America. Do you know what I mean?
Be helpful in the progression of Africa.
Yeah.
Something like how Jamaicans used to do things as an affiliation to Africa in their songs, you know, not all songs. Because
Happy merry-go-lucky. I don't know what I did to my algorithm because it's feel good joy over here. I'm like, ooh, look at people catching wine. I don't know.
Did you?
Hello.
I'm scared.
I have to give it the old razzle dazzle. It's baking in here.
Well,
Welcome.
my time to talk. My time to talk. My time to talk. Right. Here we are again. Today we are going to start with Weekly Affair.
No, the riddle. What was the answer?
Oh, what was the answer to the
W.
What was the answer to the riddle?
W.
W.
Yeah.
At the end of
Yeah.
yes.
Get it now.
I suppose that is a
Do all
good
that
one.
sabotage.
You know.
We finally made it to the end of the rainbow with a W.
You're not supposed to.
So Weekly Affair. What is our Weekly Affair? Who's going to start?
So weekly affair.
Shall I start? Shall I start?
Go for it, mother.
What's been happening this week?
Do you want to start?
It's been
Because you haven't
going
got
on
one.
in the world. You haven't got one.
I forgot. I was down there doing other things.
She's such a busy lady. Well, my Weekly Affair actually is the BBC. The BBC has been allowed to have abuse attached to its name for far too long. This week alone, I've got to get my paper out.
Oh God! Don't
This
make me
week
shut up.
alone, we've got the footballer, ex-footballer,
Who? Which
Jermaine, I can't
Default.
remember the surname.
Who?
Yeah,
Which one?
the one that's now a presenter at the BBC that does
The light skinned dude.
the one show
Oh, that's not Jermaine.
that he's been caught sending abusive texts or and he's actually had to say that he's so sorry that this is such a shame for him. We've had in the same
He's a
week
comfort to a fool.
we've had the thing for you Edwards, and the week before that we had Strictly, the abuse in Strictly. It's like how many?
And then the decades before that, we
And
had
then
Jimmy
we had Jimmy Savile, we had Gary Glitter,
God,
we've
yeah.
had
Target.
this one and that one, and it does actually beg a question that what other station are we seeing this constant role of abuse, and what other station are we having to pay a TV license for? I think, like, come on. We either shut the BBC down or get them investigated. And take them off air until they're fully investigated, because the people that they're employing or having in their circle are people that are potentially abusers, and that does not fare well when we actually have to pay a TV license. It's not like it's not compulsory. It is. Do you know what I mean? It's compulsory. And I know I've had this conversation about the BBC before, but it's getting concerning. It's, you know, like it's one every month now. Do you know what I mean? Like, who next? Type of thing. You know, like
that Hugh Edward one. They actually gave him a pay rise, didn't they? They said like a £40,000 pay increase.
They're saying like, oh, we'll try and get it back.
Try and get it back, whatever.
What?
They're still letting him be employed and be investigated at the same time for those types of crimes. I feel like he should have been at least suspended. And taken off the telly.
On full pay.
Do you know what I mean? This dude
he was suspended with full pay.
Before that he wasn't. He was still on the telly though, wasn't he? Like when they first found out, but they were like, "Oh, we didn't want to make such a fuss of it." But it's like that can't be running.
I know that BBC is not something that everybody watches these days. I know that. You know what I mean? I know it's not in the streaming type of thing, but it is online. It is what's it, and therefore, the people who do have to watch the BBC is open to hearing about abuse and having no say in the fact that this BBC needs to be either investigated and suspended until the investigation is over, or close it down completely, because there is no other company that would have that much abuse going on and they would still be operating. There is none. So what are we talking? Are we saying that this is a government corporation then, and they can do what they like and we've got no say? Do you know what I mean? Just pay your money. Just pay your money. No,
that's what they want us to do.
Close it down.
Literally.
You know what I mean? If it was on the streaming, anything else, Netflix, whatever, Amazon, if they had that much abuse going on or heard of, I'm sure they'd say, well, you know, we really need to shut Amazon down, or we really need to shut Netflix down, because like this constant indication of abuse. Do you know what I mean? Where are they getting it from? Are they being told that it's fine, it doesn't matter, you can do what you like, type of thing? You know, like, it's getting to be a bit too much, as I says, and that is this week's, you know.
Can I just add to that as well? That, you know, that there's apparently there's there's shops in the UK, and there was one that I was actually going to refer to, but I can't remember what it is now, that are backed by like the government. So regardless of like these shops that made it through COVID, and you're like, how? Because no one shops here. Do you know what I mean?
Tesco.
What do you mean?
Tesco was supposed to have closed down. Like, they were in receivership like about 2 years ago, and then suddenly it was like, okay, Tesco's is okay now. It's like as if the government took it over.
People. Well, I was thinking more like, I don't know, like your shoe zones. Like there's certain shops, not saying shoe zones like as an example, but there's certain like UK shops that are only in the UK, and you'll walk past them and you're like,
how are you still open?
What? Where? There's still no one in here. How are you doing this? Sort of thing. And then poor old Wilco's. So yeah, I think,
that's true.
I miss Wilco's. I just come back, please. And they're trying to like push freaking pound stretcher on us. Sorry, going off thinking, but yes, I feel like BBC is one of those things. It's like,
if you get that much abuse in one company,
I think they're like, it's one of those things of like, even potentially like War Times was funded by BBC's funded by, like, it's that instinct in that like when we need to say what we need to say, we will always have this platform to say whatever.
It's a British institution, isn't it? That's what they call it.
It, but that's what it was called. That's why it was put in there in the first place. But as I say, can we keep having this?
They've got a statue outside one of their headquarters of this dude and a little boy
I mean, the
Yes, and they've got this on their headquarters. Like, I'll find it for you, I'll show you. And that's been there for how long?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And nobody
But this is what I'm
questions
saying.
it.
It's
So
the institution.
it's like it's
the
there
people who made
hiding
this
in plain
institution
sight.
were doing these
Why would
things,
you have that
and then
kind
it's
of
become
imagery?
like a norm. Like so, it's more like, you know how the rat thing, you know, like where they're like that experiment where they put a bunch of rats in a cage, and then like
See
those
who's
rats, like they put a shackle on the door, and then the rats were trying to come out, and
then
they'd
suddenly
get
they
shut,
won't go.
and then they wouldn't go
After a
and
while.
then after a while, then they
They
had
never
kids.
leave, yeah.
Well,
And
they
the
had
kids
kids, and then the
wouldn't
kids
go, yeah.
just never tried
Never
to
tried
leave
to
because they
leave.
never saw their parents
Yeah.
leaving. So it's that.
It's
just
becoming like
in one
that.
generation. You
Yeah.
just literally you
That's
get said, you
generational
get
trauma,
said,
yeah,
oh,
that's
okay,
what it
well,
was,
you know,
yeah.
if you want to get into the industry,
Yeah,
you
go
need to
through
be
that
touched
way.
up. You need to be showing
Yeah.
your body. You need to
Yeah.
be doing something that's sacrificial to
And it's
yourself
okay.
in order to get there. And then that is perpetuated to everyone else. So they're like, well, I had to do it, so you need to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I had to do it, so you need
It's
to
like
do
their
it.
private schools
Yeah.
that they automatically assume,
Is this guy just doing laps?
you know, I'm going to be touched or whatever and at private schools because somebody else touched me. But as I says, I think it either needs to be boycotted, investigated, or shut down completely. Come on. Do you know what I mean? How many more are we going to have to take?
It's nothing like
Well,
that.
exactly. It's not even really something that is worth protecting anymore. You know what I mean? Why are we
Just
constantly
the same fucking
protecting this thing?
nonsense.
I mean, like putting up our license for what? So that some paedophile can get some money in their pocket. No thanks. You know what I mean? No thanks. So that's my weekly affair. Leave Jackie.
Maybe should be that one.
We're gonna have to.
So I'm
do
going to do like a two-parter because I feel like, you know, both needs to be said. So one, Carnival. Didn't go past that point in my life, I think. Way too many people. However, it looked like it went quite well this year.
I mean, people
Yeah,
always
didn't you hear
try
about
and
the
think
43 people that were stabbed
I know,
I
but
did not.
and 43 arrested?
proportionately, for the amount of people that were there, it went very well. And
I
think
actually
this is
thought-
I'm so
nobody
happy this is my
looked-
weekly affair and I'm still
Sorry.
talking.
Sorry,
I got
sorry.
like 15
No,
seconds
sorry,
in.
just had to clear that. Carry on, Ray.
But yes, on the most part, obviously my normal focus isn't on if you wanted the blood and the gore, you'll hear about that soon. But yeah, as far as I was aware, it went swimmingly. All my feed was happy merry-go-lucky. I don't know what I did to my algorithm
I
because
saw
it's feel good
people
joy
wanting
over
more
here.
time.
I'm like, ooh, look at people catching wines. I don't know.
Did you see
get
that Chris, the comedian guy, catching wine? You know, with the mom, the comedian. He's got the other podcast, Rated 18.
Oh yeah.
And he was there catching wines all day, and his foot was so swollen up there, and his mum was like, "See, Chris, it's that disgusting whining you was doing. That's why your foot all swell up on them nasty girls. You're just whining at yourself."
Who that
I
is?
genuinely think like,
Oh, that was funny.
yeah. I
It was
feel
this
like the
mad
background-
smile. He was really creepy. Like,
No, this is what I'm saying. I feel
I'll show
like
you after.
they're carnival vibes. This is what I'm saying. It's a vibe in the sense of like, if you are going there on that tip, you know how like you go to a concert and you're there to enjoy the thing, whatever happens in the concert, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're on that vibe of a carnival vibe, this is where the man them go, knowing that this could be it.
Everybody's gonna be there, guys.
This could be it. Because there's some girls at these things where they're coming like 10-10 and they're just letting whatever happen, and then after a while they're
Especially
like,
the sun shining as well.
Oh goddamn.
I saw a dude that was vertically challenged, all up.
Shut
In, I can't even say
Big
up
black
high.
guy.
He was like in the bottom because he was so small.
And
like
they're so
his butt
happy.
was in the bottom, and he's
And they're
like,
so happy.
all
And if you
up
look at the
in.
girl's face, happy. Guy's face, happy. Everyone are happy. And I think that the thing, to me, I feel like when I see a lot of black people together, knowing that like we've had very much of a similar upbringing and that kind of vibe, enjoying themselves, it's just a vibe. It is just a feel good thing.
And the music,
and a lot of people, the music. Like the vibe from the other
atmosphere.
people, because then you're also seeing like, obviously they used to, I didn't see much this year because they were probably like, okay, no, you police people just lay low now because you've just been doing up too much.
We don't want to say no.
But yeah, like obviously in the past you see them doing up their little wine and whatever, but even that in itself, I feel like that's part of the fun of it, is that you're bringing together like cultures and community.
Yeah, that's true.
And bringing like this fun kind of like, you know, Irie, happy-go-lucky, bringing that vibe to
Because
like
that's
an
the sort
area
of thing that I remember
that
about,
people want to be around as well. Like, because you don't always get those things, or they start dying off. So the fact that even through all these generations, like even past my generation before me, like these now like youths, it's still always Jamo in there, and they're still always carrying on that same thing. It's like never dead out. Do you get what I mean? Like everyone's like, no, I'm not gonna go. Like,
well, they're
Carnival or
trying
whatever.
to make it like, oh, shall we just put it in? I think they said Hyde Park or something. So they're trying to cut it down, because there was the morning part that apparently they cancelled this year. You know, and that's supposed to be like that's supposed to be the spiritual part of it, where, you know, they throw out the paint and everything, like the morning of Carnival. So they cut that bit short this year, said they're not doing that.
Well, they used to have one in Hyde Park actually, and we used to go to that one. That's where we heard that Mount Batten had died.
Sorry, that was my first part. My second part is, so I had to go somewhere, and my phone's just been acting a complete joke. So, okay, in all fairness as well, I was listening to a podcast off YouTube whilst using my sat nav, whilst using the car, and the charger obviously wasn't doing shit. So like, I'm like, oh shit, no. And then that's what happened, and then my phone just cut out. I'm in the middle of a country road. When I say country road, I mean like, you know, country roads where like it's basically single file, and then they've just got little ends along the route.
They're called B
and then a
roads.
70. No, but it's like, this is a 70 road, but there's only one linear direction, and in order for you to see another passing car on this corner, you have to literally I was like, so I'm like going down this road now, so like trying to remember in what direction at least this place was supposed to be, because it's generally, I have never been there before, didn't know the area,
so
didn't know anything, there was no foundation, and obviously these country roads, there's no sign to say this is the direction. So I literally had to
the
sit,
village.
and even the village is like one of those drive-through villages, you know.
One post office gone.
That's it.
Hello and goodbye.
They've just gone through Banbury.
And he says the shop closed at 1. See you tomorrow.
Literally. Oh, one of them ones.
So I'm like literally like driving around here. I literally had to park in one of these like everythings behind a van, just in case I was like, you know, I have to get out and basically accost this man. So I'm behind the van just waiting for my phone to get to 2%, because obviously then I can like back it on. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what the fuck do you do now without your phone?
These days.
These days. Because even then, I had to get it to 2% to literally go like this, quickly, to say what direction is Eve, even loosely, because the thing died immediately afterwards. So I was like, oh my gosh. And by luck, I found the place, and then had to make my way home without any phone at all, sort of thing. But like, and that was just through,
and that must be frightening, actually.
That was signage as well, because then this is another thing, then the signage would be like, like say Solihull, so in a direction I know. So it's like, oh, Solihull, so I'm going towards Solihull, and then there will be no signs. And then I'm like, where the fuck are we? And then it says, you're on the way to Wrexham. I'm like,
Wrexham?
where the fuck's Wrexham? Where the fuck's Wrexham? And where is
Birmingham?
yeah.
And
then you're like, okay, let me just check. You're the reason why we're here.
You know.
You're the reason why you're here. I don't have a phone. This is the point. So I've U-turned. I must have went round this junction. There was like a little stoplight as well. Like, you know, the temporary lights, which are always longer than normal lights.
Yeah, you know.
So like I'm at this stoplight going one way for like 15 minutes to then boss a Yui, come back round and at this stoplight on the other side. Like, you're right, guys.
Petrol going down. You ain't even gone nowhere.
You're right, guys. You're right. Yeah. Making my way back. You know, just dropping the fellas off. So yeah, so eventually made it home, but I just was like, wow, like imagine if it was darker.
Gone too far now.
It's just scary
So
because
you
I
need an
don't have
atlas. We need a torch. We need telephone numbers written down.
And
we need change.
And Risha's
So we need like a gold bag for the car, basically. So in case phone dies, what do you need your phone for? You need your phone for money. You need it for light. You need it for time. You need it for
everything.
as you said, sat nav. You need it for entertainment. So you need those individual things in a gold bag. You've just made me think of that. Especially
but they do tell you that. They do tell you that.
But can I just say as well, like it's also potentially great that I had the car that I had, because if I had any of these like high techy cars where they're like SOS, I would have been there like, bleep, I don't know where I am. Help me, please. Could you just get on maps?
Defenseless woman here.
And just is it left or right here? Okay, I've went 30 yards. Vivian, are you there?
It's true.
But yeah, so those are my two things. Carnival, great, love it. Technology, no, generally, what the fuck are we gonna do if that thing is? Because imagine if it had just stopped, blam, that second, like
I'm not
all
coming back
technology,
on.
no, but all
Yeah,
technology.
that's what I mean. I'm not coming back on.
I'm just now there.
Without
calling no one, I'd just be like,
use your words.
And also, obviously, dear husband has changed his number as well. I would have been there like,
no.
It's like 07 some. It's something's there.
Use your words, you know.
Definitely have to have a couple of numbers.
I'd have been calling up nannies online. Hello.
Oh,
no. 0777. I'm like, hello.
So.
And your weekly affair. I need. So my weekly affair. Bit of Africa news. So before a couple of episodes ago, we spoke about Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, and that Sahel region alliance. So they've been open to manipulation. Obviously, like I think we kind of knew there would be. So not manipulation. What's the word? Sabotage. Yes. So people are already trying to sabotage them. So you've got France. Obviously, they were kicking the Europeans out. For people that didn't see the episode, so the whole Sahel alliance is basically those three countries. Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso coming together to basically decolonize that region, and that used to be the Sengali, I think it was called, region. So they're trying to kind of put things back and reclaim their land basically. So now it's since that's happened, they've had US, French and Ukraine governments basically funding and inciting militants in Mali to basically destabilize this alliance and you know, give the West a reason to one say, oh, see, this is why we're needed here, guys, because black people can't manage themselves, so this is why we need white people in the region. So that's one reason. And then obviously the second reason is to ultimately take back the land that, you know, these countries are working so hard to get back from the French in the first place. Ukraine has been a massive involvement because there's this link with Russia and Africa. So the Ukraine are coming in and doing their dirt also within that region. So much so that Mali has brought them to the UN Security Council with the backing of this Sahel alliance now. They're looking to have a little bit more standing, because apparently they've tried to do this before, but because they're just one entity on their own, it was rejected. And also because of the influence of Ukraine and the protection of Ukraine at the moment, with everybody knows what's going on in Ukraine. So the UN are very, they're basically stepping on eggshells, basically, because they don't want to look like they're upsetting the apple cart type thing, because everybody's obviously supposed to be feeling sorry for Ukraine. So how is it that we're going to then suddenly put Ukraine under sanctions for doing what they're apparently victim to in somebody else's country? So I just wanted to update, basically, because obviously it is something that's ongoing. I think it is something that is not spoken about on the news. It's something that we, as people, Africans of the diaspora, should be aware of. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So although it doesn't affect us, and you may not think it affects us, it does affect us.
It does,
because it's a
Buju
wider plan. Exactly. Anybody watched Buju? Like, we are Africa. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody wanted to look at the negatives of what Buju wanted to say about Afro beats in that interview. But if you actually watched the whole interview,
on the fact that he's trying to say,
amazing.
Be helpful in the progression of Africa.
Yes.
He wasn't downing all of Afro beats. He was trying to say, let's do something like how Jamaicans used to do things as an affiliation to Africa in their songs, not all songs, because we've got dancehall style, it's got nothing to do with cultural or anything.
Give shout out to the same people of your own race. If we're all from that, do you know what I mean? Come back and say, like, the same way that he's saying he feels like, was it him that said that he's from Nigerian? Sorry, Rhea, we went off.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine.
What's it called? It was saying like him being from Nigerian
his
his background's Nigerian.
Yeah.
But yet he's making reggae music. Well, it's still associated to Africa because he's African. Do you get what I mean? So like the same way that, to a certain extent, you've grown up on reggae and stuff like that, and Afrobeats, as much as African music has always existed and still existed in music, the essence of that being carried through a Jamaican essence or a Caribbean essence or reggae or whatever, they're saying, well, we've still been keeping the music alive before you guys were chiming in, at least. You know what I mean? Like, shout out.
Africans tend to be like that anyway, because Mugabe actually gave back the land, the majority of the land in Zimbabwe, back to black people. And the black people said, no, we want them to have the land back.
But the white people, that's what you said, the white people that don't,
they're just like colonised mentally. Is colonisation. It's like a brainwash thing. I was actually told by a South African once that, like, really, I mean, white people actually do run the country better type of thing.
Well,
no, it's not true.
Is very problematic.
It's not true. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that you've been brainwashed into
a lot
thinking.
Of xenophobia going on. Against,
so it's like as if it's like over here, certain people would say, well, my granddad voted Labour. My mum voted Labour, so I think that's what I'll do.
But that's where,
do you know what I mean? They're not taking into account all the things
you're
that
never gonna try to get out of the box just because you could be shocked. Like, literally, you will be shocked at what's on the other side, but you got out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is the thing, like, going back to like the Buju thing, like, he even mentioned in that interview, which I wanted to say, about Haiti. Like, Haiti was the first African nation to free themselves, and they've been paying for it ever since. Do you know what I mean? Like, Haiti is not making guns. So the guns are coming from America. Do you know what I mean? They're coming from Florida, and then the Americans are feeding this stuff in to then say, oh look, see, they can't run themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Like Jamaica.
So it's a tried and
there's no guns. There's no gun factory in Jamaica, but they've got a world of guns.
Same with Africa.
In Jamaica,
why are there? Why is bombs going off in Goma in the Congo when Congo don't make fucking bombs? Do you know what I mean? It's because the US is funding the RSF. So like it all goes round, like with Sudan and thingy, like all of them are going through a terrible time. But yes, they will be, every time they try and bring themselves up, there will be somebody, some Western nation that is trying to sabotage and bring them back down, and it's because of the resources, and it's because they don't want to pay a fair price, and that's it. They don't want to have to pay back. They don't want to have to put that money into Africa, basically. Whereas they could easily just buy from the source. Why is it that everything is exported out of Africa
because they
to
want
then
to
be
see
imported
people
back into Africa
they
when
want to
they
see
need?
themselves up here and everyone else
still,
down here. They don't want it to be an even thing of like, we can all be living the same kind of equal life. No, they want to put themselves on top.
When we were teenagers, myself, I mean, when we got to the teenage, the teenage stage, we realised that Africa was the breadbasket of the world. Do you know what I mean? There is nothing, but yet, like you're trying to tell us that this country's poor. Please send £3 to Africa. Africa is the breadbasket of the world. The diamonds come out of there. The ore comes out of there. The food comes out of there. Why are they the poorest country? Think about it. You know what I mean?
They're an absolute joke. So yeah, that was my weekly.
So there we go. So now we are on the dilemma.
What would you
Who's doing the dilemma?
I think it's me this week.
I think it's me.
We're like, right, so I have another one. If you guys knew the scrummage that happened last week,
Oh no.
and I was just sitting there like,
No, she wasn't. She was nothing.
Fight.
But anyway,
fight.
The dilemma for this week is, I have to read this out because I do
on a paper.
think about this. On paper, writing.
What peasant? I'm joking.
Yeah, you and your broke down phone. Add paper and pen to your list because you're gonna need it when your phone broke again.
Yeah, exactly. Like help. You can write it down and.
But I won't be calling y'all bitches. You don't drive nowhere. That's not me.
That's right.
It's dark, Rich,
and it's far. Where are you?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? You don't know where you are.
If I'm in the car with Risha, I'll say, "Oh, you could go, Mum. I know where I'm going. No. The machine will tell me." You've always said that to me.
Yeah, because I'm never going to follow your driving instruction ever. Because you don't drive enough. I've got more experience than you.
Yeah. So do your place then. Anyway.
I did. Did you not hear the story? Should we go back?
Edit that. Parents, this is the dilemma. The parents of 2 girls has won the lottery before they died of 40 million. After they die, they leave the majority of the money to one daughter out of the 2 that they've got. One daughter is an ex-heroin addict and her parents have had to keep sending her to rehab for years. The other is an ideal daughter, went to uni, done everything she was told, asked to by her parents. The dilemma is, left in their will, they've left all the money to the daughter that done the right thing, so to speak.
Okay.
I was about to say, should the daughter
that has got everything, as the daughter is the other daughter is an ex-heroin addict now, should the daughter put into a trust fund for the other daughter some money based on the fact that she's going to be clean for a certain amount of time and then she can have some money? Or should she just give her sister half of what her parents have left?
How much was it?
40 million.
Neither. I wouldn't give her any money.
What?
They gave it to...
They gave it to the daughter that has done everything right.
Then?
No, not you. I don't
No, that's what I'm saying. The person with the money is the one that's done everything
So
right.
what is the dilemma? Should we...
The dilemma is the daughter who has been left all the money.
So we are
million.
the daughter who's been left all the money in this situation. So as the daughter who's been left all the money, am I...
Should she just... Because in the will, it says, we've left all our money to the daughter that's done everything right because we've spent so much money on the heroin addict daughter.
Right.
So should the daughter that's been left all the money, you lot would be the daughter that's been left the money, should she just give her sister half of the money, or should she put some into a trust fund and bearing on the fact that she'll be sort of like with conditions then?
But is that my two options?
Well, you know, those are the two options. That's in the dilemma.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? That should she put it in a trust fund for her, and that's bearing on the fact that she's going to be clean for a certain amount of time, then she can have some money. Or should the sister just not go with the will and give her sister half of the money?
I think it would be really dumb for you to give your sister who's coming back from heroin half of 40 mil. I also think that it would be dumb to put the money in a trust for someone who is suffering from heroin addiction.
She's an ex. No.
Yeah, but she's an ex, and she's been an ex before that, and an ex before that, and
true.
she's been in rehab before that. And that I wasn't in rehab, so that's like 40 grand a stint. So let's
40
say she...
million we're talking.
Yes.
Oh, you mean
to go to rehab? Because I'm guessing if they got 40 million to give to me, the rehab wasn't cheap. So let's say 40 grand a stint. Let's say that she's been in there 3 times. That's £120. 20,000. Yeah. So 120k that I ain't asked for. I ain't done a damn thing. Don't get me wrong. May love my sister, whether I like her or not is redundant. I'm never gonna give you any money of that.
So you're gonna keep the 40 million?
Yeah, I'd keep it. I'm not like I'm saying I'd keep it for myself. Like, for example, like if it was a case of all the money came to me and I know that she can't really be trusted in that degree, but she's gonna need a house over her head. Yeah, then I would buy her a house so she's there. She's looked after. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's
so
the trust fund option.
But then I wouldn't put it in a trust fund either, because then it's just money that's sitting there for someone who may not be able to ever collect on that money.
No, trust fund till she's a certain age. Not trust fund.
No, because you still can be a drug addict at whatever age.
Well, that's in conditions, isn't it? With conditions.
Well, if it's a case of the trust fund, or I have to give it to her,
or would you give
half of it?
Because it's your money. It's your money.
It would have to go in the trust fund. But if it's a case of I have the option to give her nothing, like physically give her the money, so it's in her name, then I would choose don't give her anything, because I just feel like I said, I'm not going to be a bitch about it and be like, I've got 40 mil. Fuck you, bitch. Drug addict, bitch.
Yeah.
No.
Make you bad lying.
Exactly. Make you bad lying it, bitch. But like, I would make sure that if she's a drug addict, say that then she fell off the wagon and I did get her a house and then went and sold the house, then I bought for her and stuff like that. You ain't never seen a damn thing ever again.
That's true.
Because then you're putting yourself in that situation, but I'm not going to let her squander 20 mil. I'd rather open up my own rehab and put her in there permanently. That's your yard, okay?
That's probably a good earner as well, actually. Yeah, I like that.
What do you do?
I'm with Rish, yeah. You can't be giving, if they were 20 years sober, but even then, it's like I watched, just to think in my reasoning in this, I watched something on Netflix ages and ages ago, but it basically followed these drug addicts from the beginning of their life on drugs, so you see them fresh faced. It's so heartbreaking. all the way to like it got up to COVID.
Find people
Exactly, that was, and that's what the guy would even document. Like, I've been looking for blah 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 for how long, so he would get to
So
know
they get
people
to
on
the stage
streets.
of,
Now, how do you know they're starting as a drug addict and you're like,
Oh, because obviously he like
Just
I
go into it.
can't remember
give it a
how
go.
he started, but it was like 3 or 4 people's stories that he followed, and then by the time he got to the end of it, there was like only one of them left. Like, they had heartbreaking deaths, and do you know what I mean? But there was only one of them left, and it was this woman, and she had kids, and her daughter. He'd seen her daughter grow from like a little girl, like in the house, just watching the telly. Her mum's neglecting her, and even he was like,
because she's an addict.
I don't even want to leave, but this is
part of
this
it,
is just
yeah.
like this is her life.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I can't
It's kinda
intervene.
like an
Sort of like
experiment.
somebody in the wild, and you can't
like
intervene if
the
the child
penguins.
is in
You're like,
there.
oh
But,
no.
yeah, like that's how he kind of did it. So he saw this girl become a grown woman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Still addicted.
And so
the
through
daughter.
the daughter, so through various times of her mum's life, her mum has been on and off drugs, and it got to a point where she was like, which coming to my point, she'd got to like, I think it was like 5 or maybe even longer years clean, and she was on meth, like, so strong drugs that she was on, and she was doing so well.
That's it.
And COVID hit, and there was nowhere for her to go in terms of
take off
her community.
Yeah.
Her community, because she still went to Narcotics Anonymous every day and all of that.
Years.
Yes, because she
needed
needed
that.
it. She
Yeah.
knows
And it worked for her.
kept her
Yeah.
accountable, and that was whatever way. And she went back on drugs and she died.
Ooh.
And
So that's 20 million
when
down the
it
drain.
got to the end and the daughter, this is what I mean. So exactly, and when the daughter,
This whole did work.
when it was the mum's
And 2
funeral,
years, she could spend 20 million in 2 years.
easy.
COVID
Like
was 2
when
years.
they went to the funeral, the daughter was just like, you know,
That was
like
her
it was
life?
just so stoic, because it was like, you know,
That's how she
I know
is.
she tried,
Yeah,
but it was
she
inevitable.
tried.
I've expected my mum to die 15
Years
years
ago.
ago.
Yeah,
So
same
everything
time,
else
yeah.
before after that has been a bonus. Like, she was so like gracious
Yeah.
and thingy about
Because
it.
you can
But
you
yeah, so that
imagine?
would be my
But then
thing.
you
I
can
couldn't give them that
imagine
money, because
couldn't
I
give her
feel
20
like
million.
You can
to give
imagine
20
like
million, that's a
heartache
lot.
of like you knowing that when your parent or anything is seeing them in those 2 different states, and knowing that they're not like this without this element. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know that this person loves me and wouldn't do this, but then to go and see them, like, for example, like, take your birthday money.
Yeah.
Simple things,
Like,
yeah.
you
Take
haven't
their
got
child's
shoes for
pocket
school.
money or something.
There's
You
nothing in
haven't
the
got shoes for
fridge,
school,
and
there's no
this
food.
woman is fucking
Or like you come
$50
in
a day on
from,
drugs.
like you've been left at school, and then you come in and you see your mum or dad like just on the sofa,
Comatose.
just out, like blacked out. And it's like knowing those 2 aspects and knowing that, but that person loves me. Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean?
You love them.
But they
Yeah.
can't give up what, you know, because I would
yeah.
say, you know, like, no. My parents knew both of us, you know, well enough to say, you keep the money, whatever
Because
you
they
want to
know
do
you'd look after
to
your
help
sister,
her
yeah.
or whatever, but we're willing, if my parents is bad enough to say, we're willing you the money, then I'm bad enough to keep it. Do you know what I mean? And as you say, it's like, help her, yes, but she ain't having 20 million
You
to
can't. I'm
then go
sorry.
back on drugs. I mean, like, she probably been off drugs because she can't get hold of mom and dad's
Well, whatever
money.
it is, yeah,
you know what I
whatever
mean?
could have been the impetus. You think it's like something
think
like
what-
the whole thing of
It's like
be
saying
careful
your
what
parents
you
don't
wish for,
know.
or
But then
pray for me in the
what
right
you-
way type
what
thing,
you
because you
said
don't know
in
what
the
you're praying
sense of
for.
like the whole dilemma being that like she's been there before, and obviously before they
and
died
she's
they
an
were
ex
trying to help
at the moment,
her.
though.
Do you get what I mean? That
She's an
means that
ex.
we've been through this and they were
One
alive
little
for
hard
it. Do you
time,
get what I mean?
that was my point.
So then
One little
imagine
hard time,
what she's going to be
yeah.
like with both her parents then
Dead
as well.
and yeah.
And then this sister's probably going to get battered.
But that's what I
I'm
mean,
probably
life
like
is all
thinking for my
won't
life.
it?
I probably
Yeah.
had to go and pay for security. That's a hard 1 mil.
Life happens, and that's what I would always think. Like, whatever happens, life happens. So yes, you would make sure she has the most incredible life, and hopefully she stayed clean. Then she can still have all of that. She'd get her 20 mil, just not physically.
You know what I mean? If I like you, that's it. If I like you and you're a sister, you're living with me.
Yeah, like
why wouldn't you need to?
You'd have.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're having that life, and you get whatever it is that you would have got with parents being alive.
What if she might kill you to get the?
She probably would kill me.
Obviously,
but you know what? I put in my will.
She's gonna have to leave.
She still ain't getting that money. The house can go to the cats. Or whatever else. I was like, she still ain't getting that money.
She's an ex.
She needs to be, you know how they do prison. She needs to have served at least 30 years.
And then probation.
And she needs to have paid a mortgage in that time as well.
People do
so that is the dilemma.
That was a good one. Wow.
That's the dilemma. So our next is...
Sabotage.
It's Sabotage.
I'm going first.
Okay, that's good. That's a good sign that you're going first.
This little, it's called the paper tablet. It's called Remarkable.
Is that you thinking about paper?
Paper tablet.
This is what I was saying with my movie that broke.
You can actually write.
I'm joking.
What do you mean? It's a tablet that you can actually write on?
So it's like it looks like a notepad. You write on it, you can draw on it, whatever it is, and then it goes to immediately to your phone or laptop or whatever. Then you can like say that you've written that in your handwriting. When you send it across, you can say convert to text or convert it as the handwriting.
What if it doesn't be able to read your handwriting?
No, it can read your handwriting.
Any handwriting.
Yeah. So like say for example, once you've had it for a bit, like
Yeah,
they think they it knows you. Yeah. So yeah, so you can write a whole thingy, like say like
so it's just like
college,
a tablet.
Yeah,
It looks like a tablet,
literally
but
like
you can just
it
write
looks
on
like
it.
a notepad, like you've just opened the first page, but that's it.
Oh.
So feels like writing on paper. So convert your handwriting to type text, view, sync, and refine using our apps. All your work organised and in one place. 2 weeks of battery life.
2
weeks. Oh,
what else has got?
Because your paper don't run out of
show the
battery, does
camera.
it?
I'd say.
I'll send.
Okay.
1,500.
Fucking hell.
Sorry. I would say half of that, 500 and something.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's probably more realistic, actually.
Potentially. 429.
Ooh, go on, man.
You could get the lower one with 389, but I don't know what the plus gets you, if I'm honest with you.
Probably that doesn't
thinking about
take your handwriting into account. Let's go. Write this better,
Fucking
bitch.
Betty. Wow.
I need to see this in action.
I cannot.
But it's great because then obviously then you can like say for example you're like okay yeah like let's move
Plus
that
something
over.
like
You can just circle that and move it like literally like a thingy. So
I'd like to
is quite
see it in
good.
action because I use my function, like my pen function, notepad function on my phone.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see how that
Yeah.
thingy works. in action.
So yeah, I saw someone using it and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is actually quite sick because then also you can for example you're like in a meeting or whatever and you can sync it to like say like your receptionist or something like that and you're thinking and you're not in the same room and they can automatically get those notes and then you clear it and then they still typing up all that stuff or it doesn't need typing up because you can convert it but they're still dealing with that piece of information working on that and it goes on something else. So
good little gadget.
It is. So I was like, oh, that's quite dope. Think I'll get that. 400 and okay, maybe I'll just go with my paper and pen.
Better than the price I thought it was
Like,
gonna
yeah,
be.
absolutely.
Pen.
Not
It's all
too
work
bad,
still.
not too shabby.
Yeah. So
But you, Ma? Shall I go next?
Yeah, go
I
on.
need your phone.
Because you always
please.
last.
Okay, so how much for this utility vest?
Utility vest. What do you mean?
It's like
Right.
sort of what the kids wear nowadays.
That looks like one of them holsters for a gun.
Looks like something for crime.
You do.
It's part of the fashion.
Is it snake skin?
It's crocodile effect.
Is that like a wallet?
Yeah, basically, it's like
That's like a money
it's
pad.
like the new man bag. Basically,
Okay.
this is what the new man bag
I don't know what that
It's
would be
really
for.
bad because my dad asked for one of them.
They're like a weird
Did
pouch.
But not with the whole contraption.
They've got
And
different
the
styles,
vest,
but this is the style I've chosen.
Okay, so
How much?
how much?
I think we're back on 500 and something. 529.
I'm gonna
529.
go only because
Very
it's
specific,
giving
Mother.
crocodile, it's giving animal, and I don't know if any guy's gonna be rocking that if it's not actual crocodile.
That's true.
So I'm gonna go 299.
299.
299. 99.
529.
99.
529.
I said
I
529.
thought you said.
No, she went high. Yeah, she went
Okay.
high.
529 and
299.99.
oh my god, 0.99. Okay, so it is £23.82.
Is it? That's
So
not
technically
bad.
I won.
Yes. So it's from
Pleasant.
story behind it.
Not
It's
really.
from
Crocodile.
Winston Leathers, which is a Nigerian
Leathers.
company.
It's a leather.
Like
It's leather. It's real leather. This company is the source of leather for Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton. So when they've said Italian leather, these people have been selling
Nigeria.
stuff as Italian leather. It's Nigerian leather.
Yeah.
And so the people that they get their one of the designer of this piece, and they've got loads of different pieces, men's pieces, women's pieces. They do shoes, bags, everything. So it would have been 50,000 naira over there, but it works out to £28 over here. And the Winston's fashion. So this was the thing. This guy, Issa Bako, basically his sister found out that this was happening. That these high companies, Gucci and all of them, were taking Nigerian leather,
turning
it, saying that it's Italian. And it's always been
back to
Nigerian
the big
leather.
basket of the
So
world.
she took them to court to basically get them to,
Acknowledge
basically
that
say
they
it's
are-
illegal to say that this is Italian leather.
Yeah.
So now that's why you will see them say genuine leather, because they obviously still don't want to say it's Nigerian. So now whenever you see leather, it will say genuine leather because it is actually from Nigeria.
Oh,
There you
God.
go. Fun fact with your it's how much.
It's how much?
So what's yours, mama?
Find it.
Mad, innit?
Mad.
They knew
'Cause their
that.
pieces
If they
are
put
amazing.
Nigerian,
I'll put the link
they
of
knew that if you
their
put
stuff.
Nigerian on
You
it,
have
they
to
would
give them
have-
some money.
Yeah, and now people have found out, like, I'm glad a lot of people are buying their stuff now. A lot of their stuff is getting sold out because before they were so overlooked.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are selling the proper stuff.
Okay. Headphones.
Ooh. Oh gosh, I don't even know.
Sorry.
So
LCD.
Odyssey LCD
Are
5.
they Bluetooth?
They are high end. I can say that much.
Oh gosh.
she's not going to give us any specific.
65.
You know that. I'd say
No, 119. No, I'm gonna go with 65.
65.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
If they're going any higher end than that, because I swear everyone's gone to pods, so
Or
I don't even
these-
know where you go with those big ass headphones unless you're getting
Odyssey LCD. There's somebody out there that's going to say, oh, it's an Odyssey. Oh, I can tell you how much that is.
99.99.
Uh-huh.
No, I mean.
Did I say high end?
You said high end, Ria.
You said high end.
High end of £10.
What? That's £100.
I should have bought you that up with more designer stuff.
Well, that doesn't look like it's worth more
You're
than
right,
£100.
thanks.
Okay,
I'll just get
let
my
me choose it.
Nigerian
Okay,
High end, she said, Ria.
350.
Is that itching your toe?
315. That's good.
Oh,
What did you say?
It is, what did you say?
Depends.
You should
Oh,
say
come
65.
on. Oh, 65. Both wrong. 4,690.
What the hell?
I don't know who you're talking to.
What are these for?
I don't know who you're talking to.
That's not headphones.
4,690.
Nah, what are these used for, Mum?
I don't know.
You have to get the specification.
They've got things
Is there like a setting where you can hear Jesus himself?
You know what I mean?
Unaudible,
Exactly.
reciting the Bible.
Just instant friggin'
In the
birthday.
Yeah. 4,600.
You need to get the Google link because I need to know where this is from.
Absolutely
'cause I need
taking
to find
the
out.
absolute piss. I don't
You
want to
said
hear.
high end, but I thought it can't be over 1,000 for headphones. So
know,
that's
what's
what
that?
I refused to
What
go
does it
above
do?
the 500 mark.
What does it do?
It has got
$5 grand.
Oh God, you really do my hearing. Gosh.
That's mad, man.
It
This is
is.
absolutely
No,
diabolical. Can we just go
It's
to
not
any of
plastic.
them just to see what the fuck the starting for is for?
You just went past it.
Taking the piss.
This must be some proper.
I
Like,
think these must be
Look
what
at
are they
this.
called?
Leather care is
Thingy
12.
babies.
89
The
pound
pads.
for the pads.
At 89.
What are you called? What are they called? Thingy babies. The ones who were born in wealth.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Trust fund babies.
Trust fund
And they were
babies,
like, listen,
yeah.
you need to open a business. And they were like, okay, we'll just,
We'll
you know,
make
buy
some
these
headphones,
things.
Yeah. Buy them
For
from
like
China.
£5
and then friggin', yeah.
and then just put
Our
them,
friends will buy them.
yeah, mark them up.
So yours
Wow.
is much?
I already did mine, man.
That
Oh
was
yeah.
crazy.
That is madness.
Crazy.
$4 grand. I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't. When
No.
you said high end, I was like, really?
Yeah, I thought to myself, like,
And she said,
you know, they need to know what
Wow.
I
Was
am.
it? Is the website old? Maybe it was like from
No.
2006, and they were
You
the
know,
very
so-
first headphones.
No.
ever.
Anyway,
existed.
that was is
much.
So hate and
Hey,
congratulate.
congratulate.
I can't think of what my hate was. I know I had a good
Oh
one.
no, I've got one.
Carry on.
What have you? Have you got one, Maish?
Come back to me.
Okay. So I hate Keir Starmer because he's come out with this new thing talking about, we're going to be in pain for the next couple of years because we're going to be doing our budgeting in October and we all must band together while I'm saying we've been frigging banding. So when are you not going to fucking pay some extra money? And why is it always us? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is just literally the definition of imperialism. You like are earning the most and paying the least. We're earning the least and paying the most. Like, what the hell? How much pain are we going to be in? We're going to be on fucking life support by the time this freaking dude's done with us.
But it's like they're calling it pain, and when it was a Conservative, they called it
Austerity.
Austerity. You know what I mean? Now it's called pain.
No, it's called blood clot pain. So yeah, I'm just like, so what happens? Like, people are already at food banks. So where is the extra money coming from? Where are you expecting people to pull this from? Do you know what I mean? If this is not just effectively telling people go out and commit crime, is telling people we ain't got nowhere to put you into prison. So just go and commit crime because we can't house you in prison anyway. It seems to be what you're saying. Because what
But
else?
don't go out and
What
commit crime,
else
guys.
are you expecting people to do? Because you're not putting up wages. People are already on 2 and 3 jobs. Do you know what I mean? So how are you expecting people to come up with this extra thing? They're going to be in pain, all right. See, I told you guys, cost of lives. It's really going to be cost of lives at this point.
It makes a difference
Because they've
to
said
the
that
cost of living.
Literally.
the rate of shoplifting has went up as well, isn't it?
Of course it has.
Yeah.
I mean, from the time they put in what do you call it on baby formula, like them alarm things on baby formula. That just shows you, like, if people are robbing baby formula, then, like,
And it is
it's
food,
in
but
a
lot of people
dire thing.
are,
Yeah, meat, and it.
Yeah.
I saw someone a pack of Lurpak or something the other day.
Yeah. The cheese is ridiculous.
Like, they're actually
the ones on
insulting us.
cheese
We're living
crack
in, like,
me
some
up.
dystopia. Literally, we are.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
To tell us we're a first
You
world
just
country,
reminded
but we're
me
fucking
what
not.
my hate was actually.
So, yeah, that was my hate. Sorry, guys, had to get that off
Yeah.
my chest.
Have you got one?
Come back to me.
Out of the what's it? My hate, which I've just reminded by what you've just said, is the fact that you're putting more people in prison and we have to pay for them to be in prison. There has to be some sort of fund for people who done a riot and they put in prison and not take it out of our tax, because like yes, you want to put them in prison for what they've done, but who's paying for them to be in prison? We are. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, them people are going to be in for 2 years, 5 years and all that. You know, at the same time, you probably put half of them in men. So maybe now their family has to go on some sort of benefit also because their husband, boyfriend, man, is in prison. So therefore, who is paying? Who is going to be paying for all these people to go to prison? And you haven't sorted out the ones that you said is going to come out of prison with their 40%, because they've done 40% of their term already, so they might be eligible to come out. It was 50 before, so now it's going to be 40. Stop putting people in prison without knowing who is going to look after these people. Do you know what I mean? Who is going to look after these yobs that has made sure that they've gone into prison for the next 2 years and all that? It shouldn't be us. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be the taxpayer that's going to have to look after them. No. Because, like, at the end of the day, you want to fund the police more, and then you're going to fund the prison system more because you put more people in prison. No, it's getting beyond a joke. I'm sorry.
My hate is not enough people are going to prison. Because I'm hearing all of these things of these women who have been brutally attacked by these men.
Yeah.
And then
exactly
they go to
the wrong people are not going to prison.
They're going to court. They're following the process, not even leaving it of this. Oh, I love him, so I'm not even going to tell anyone. Tell him first time calling the police. This man just battered the fuck out of me. Come and arrest him.
They're the ones that should be going.
They get arrested. They go down to the police station. They take a report. They do the report, and they're like, okay. So one, either you come to court and you face your abuser, you haven't got a choice on that, otherwise they walk. You do, and then when you do go to court and face the abuser and say, yeah, he did all that stuff to me, here's evidence, here's a watch, okay, here's 16 months, and then half the time is served, and then also we'll just let you go pick up litter. So 2 weeks, if that. And then you come back out and you go and abuse the next woman, and then it's
they're still terrorising the same one.
The
restraining orders don't do nothing.
Whilst terrorising the same one, they're going and finding and abusing the other one worse, because now they're angry about the first one snitching on them, and they're like, well, I'm going to take it out on you. So all of this thinking, and then every single one of them, the moment that you don't follow that same protocol, so it doesn't matter how many times they're beating the shit out of you, if you don't follow that protocol, that one time will be the time where they're like, oh, or they either kill you, or the police be like, oh, so why didn't you say something then?
Yeah, well, look at that one only last week.
It's flipping
that
ridiculous.
He burnt the house down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Her and her kids, you know what I mean? Like, that must have been at one time, you know, like, I've got an injunction against him, he's not to come near me, but he's managed to get in the house and kill her, and her children too. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, the wrong people are going to prison.
And then there was that one with the African lady, and it turns out it was her son that has killed her as well. So it's like there is something going on, and obviously we've spoken about the rate of femicide in England at the moment, and it is a real epidemic. Before that, there was the one in London where the guy stabbed a little girl and the mom. So it's like broad day, like the luxury of women only being at threat at night is dead and gone, because it's happening in broad daylight now. Do you know what I mean? They don't give a shit.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, I can't remember. I feel like we talked about it before. But if the consequence to all crime is that you go in a room with bars on there and have to share your space with other people who have done a crime. That is not,
it's not
relevant to your crime. No, but it's not, there's no consequence. That's not a consequence. Do you know what I mean? It's the same consequences when you go and put your child on the naughty step or by the thing. It's just for a longer period of time. But at some point, are you ever going to feel the error of your consequence? Do you get? Are you gonna feel that consequence? Do you get what I mean? Because, like, you know, obviously Caribbean or even sometimes potentially African sayings is, if you don't hear, you must feel. And these people like feeling shit. So then when, once again, the learned behavior is, okay, well, even if my dad or my mum was in my life, and they did something bad, if they're not there at all, you've got no one to compare it to. So you're just comparing it to other rampage and rumper people on the road. Do you get what I mean? Because that's your family as far as you're concerned. Then it's never going to be, oh yeah, you go and find a stray and they've been raised right and put in the thingy. So if you do have a mother and parent, mother and dad in your life, mum and dad in your life, and then all you've seen is a system of them doing the same thing. So they potentially, not saying that it's all them, but like you're on a certain benefits or whatever. And then you don't see mum and dad work. And then you do see mum and dad do crime. Do you get what I mean? And when they do crime, dad's out within 2 months. It's just a little bit thing, but you got a nice phone or you got thingy and blah, blah, blah. That's learned behaviour. Then you're thinking, that's how we run. That's
and
how
the
it
worst
works
of it
for me.
is they're in prison doing weight training, so that their muscle is big enough to kick your ass when they come out.
About kicking
Do you know what I mean?
Like stabbing you up. This is the worst thing, and that's what I'm saying. It's like that was even a luxury of a slap or a kick in the belly. Now it's like they're gonna stab you up, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think those ones, I'm sorry, but there's no help for them now. That's, as far as I'm concerned, it's too far gone. It's
the ones
we need
that
to be back. That's my point. They're too far. Like, in terms of rehabilitating that, rehabilitate that into what? You know, from the time you've been able to do that to a woman.
Really
I'm sorry, where are we going with you from that?
Going?
So I'm talking about from the schools. This, never mind sex education, like it needs to be like misogyny is taught about in schools because and it's because sadly that's where they are the majority of the time. And if they're not getting, like what Risha's saying, they're seeing that kind of thing in the household, then that's the person that they idolize and look up to, or the people that the men, should I say, let's be specific, that they idolize and look up to, are not perpetrating the right things for them to learn. Then there needs to be somewhere else. There needs to be more positive male role models in school, ones that are relative and look like all children, not just a certain branch of children. There needs to be more youth clubs and stuff, because I find it's like boys are looking to be guided. They're looking to have a man that can lead them and support them, and that they can look up to and aspire to. It just so happens that they will find anybody that will do that. So if there's not somewhere, like back, as I said before, we had Concord, we could go to the local, thingy. We didn't have to be on the street. You go to your local play scheme, and there's people that they bridge the gap between your parents and your school friends, because they're of a certain age that they're still cool enough to think like they're, like, say, my sister's age to my daughter's to my oldest daughter's age. She was born when Risha was 16, so it's like they're kind of grown together. So they're probably just still a little bit out in terms of thinking. But I'm saying, like, in terms of those youth centre type places.
Yeah, those are the people.
It bridges that gap that they've just come out of childhood, but they're adult enough to have learnt those lessons. That younger child will look up to them and say, well, you know what, blah 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 said that, and I like how he goes on, or I like his style, I like that he just wears a tracksuit and doesn't have to be blinking, I like that he just, encourages me to play football, I like that. But if there's not that, then where do you go? Because your parents, but hold on, because your parents might be supportive, but they're not always cool and hip, and it's not always cool and hip to look to be seen as listening to your parents. So if you've got somebody that looks like you and is cool and is like, you know what I mean, people respect you, but you're doing the right things, I feel like these boys would generate to that. And they are like, I see a lot of young boys on podcasts now chat in the chat, and they're doing like, they're teaching the right thing. They're talking about emotions, they're talking about crime, they're talking about mental health, they're talking about vibe checks, like how are we today, bro? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on today? You don't look right. They're doing the conversations that think, oh no, that was a bit mad. I saw a man talking about he stamped on his woman's neck in the bedroom, and they're talking about this type of stuff and how mad they find that type of stuff. But if they don't see, if young people don't see other older people but young people talking in that way to say, nah, that's mad, you know, don't be moving like that, then everything's acceptable.
But it's like the after school things and the play schemes and all that we had back in the day. I'm not saying ours was brilliant, but they were cheaper as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're a mad price right now because there is no funding towards it. They're a mad price. That if you've got more than one child, you've got no child benefit for more than two. Do you know what I mean?
The same way that, like, you're saying about the TV license thing being a mandatory thing, why is it not mandatory for people to have summer camps and stuff like that, where it's looked after?
When they know the benefits, when they know the benefits,
I mean, like, right now,
and they know the detriment of not having them.
Right
so
now,
that's why they're doing it.
If a child had to be put in an after-school thing, we're talking what? £20 for each child, more than that. Do you know what I mean? After the play schemes for term time, like this July to September, is like is a bomb. You know what I mean? And there's no money
and
for
also,
over.
Can I say as well that the people who would say, okay, yeah, like, I don't mind being a part of that, and like, I don't mind working with young people and stuff like that, can't afford to do that job because it's not paid enough.
So, and a lot of them are voluntary.
And then the ones then you're like, oh, okay, they're like, yeah, I'll do it for free. You're like, okay, no, you get out of this, Steve. No, but I mean, because why you that eager, Steve? Do you know what I mean? It's a rolling in, Steve. Because why are you just getting this for free, bro? Like, why are you saying you're gonna do this in your free time? So it's like a hard thingy to balance, because like at the same time, it is so necessary, because if you don't take the time out to reinforce it in them now, your child is getting raised by TikTok, Instagram, X, whatever the fuck it is, and literally, but then the streets are also getting raised by TikTok, Instagram, X, all of these things, and you as the parent who's like falling out of flow of what is current, what is relevant, what is actually happening with your child and his community or her community. When you're just like, oh wow, you know, it's just out of my generation and they're just messing up, you're losing track of your child, and that is still down to you. Do you know what I mean? So like I understand that people's personality play a huge factor in that, but very much so, you have impeded in your child in that time period of you being around them. So if you wasn't around, you've impeded them. Even the people who think that you're doing a stellar job, you probably are, but you've still impeded them in some way. You still they're probably still going to have some kind of issue or skill or whatever, which can't be fixed. However, the main thing is that you're trying to do your best to get them to the best point. So if you know your child is running up road, and you can't say whether your child is running up road with a knife or not, you're doing a shit job. You're doing a shit job, because why do you not know what your child is?
Because the 12-year-old
why do you not care?
Was in the riots. I mean, that was taken in and arrested. A 12-year-old, I think there was somebody even younger than a 12.
Yeah, trust me.
That was in the riots.
My 12-year-old didn't even know there was fucking riots going on, and that's the difference. Do you know
exactly.
What I mean? Like,
so
why are your children like subjected to this?
It was all hate this week.
I know.
Girls.
Unfortunately.
I was gonna say congratulate, but I was like, nah, fuck this shit. Actually,
Congratulations to Nicole and Benaya, because they were the only couple on Love Is Blind that I thought was actually like genuine, even though she was very frustrating. I just had to say that.
If we're talking reality TV,
it was all very,
congratulations
very heavy
to Michael,
and I was relying on
getting
Risha
away
to do
from
the same
Angela,
kind of,
Riddle To End.
Riddle To End.
a wealthy family lived in a big circular house. They had a maid, a butler, and a gardener. The parents were going to a party, so they took the younger kids into bed and kissed them goodnight.
How long is this?
And said goodnight and kissed the older kids goodnight. When the parents came home, all the kids were gone. They had been kidnapped. The authorities asked the butler, maid, gardener what they were doing at the time of the kidnapping. The butler says he was organising the library. The maid says she was dusting the corners, and the gardener says he was watering the plants. Who's lying and actually kidnapped the kids?
Next! Oh, you can't be doing that. Oh, you're gonna do that to her.
No. See you next time.
My time
to talk.
Subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Don't